Today we're going to be learning how to work with 1-point perspective. This is the first video of 3 videos that you'll be watching. The first thing we're going to talk about is that you need a pencil, either a nice sharp wooden pencil or a mechanical pencil is fine. You can use a pen once you get to know what you're doing, but to start we're going to not use any pens and just stick with the pencil. You also need a ruler. The first thing that I'm going to show you is how to use the ruler. When you're working with a ruler, you always want to hold your hand that you're not drawing with. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my right hand to hold my pencil and my left hand to hold the ruler. Now, when I do this, I want to make sure that I'm holding my hand steady, and that's why this little groove is in the ruler, so that you can hold your hand down and put your fingers in there and hold it down nice and steady. That's going to make you have nice straight lines. So the first thing that you can do is you can practice just making some lines. Now, as I'm doing this, I'd like you to think about which way these lines are going. So I just did a little pattern of lines there. This line here is vertical. This is horizontal. Vertical, horizontal. So a horizontal line is where the sky meets the ocean. So if you're at a beach and you think about the waves, the ocean, and here are some clouds, and so on and so forth, that's what we call the horizon line. You're going to need to work with a horizon line while we are doing 1-point perspective. Another thing that you're going to have to think about when working with 1-point perspective is the word vanish. On a perspective drawing, a 1-point perspective drawing, you always have 1 point. That point is called the vanishing point. To vanish means to go off into the distance and get smaller and smaller as you go towards that point. So if I have clouds in my foreground, they're going to be nice and big, and as they're going off into the distance, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. I often think about baseball when you say going, going, gone, and you see the baseball just getting smaller and smaller and smaller in the distance. That's what vanishing means. This point and this line, the horizon line, are going to be the most important parts to your 1-point perspective piece. So this is vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. One other piece to this is that you want to make sure when you're using your pencil, you're not drawing too dark. Try to keep your lines light. If I'm using a pencil and I'm pushing down really hard, that's a dark line. If I'm going to use my pencil and draw light lines, there would be a light line. So you want to work with a light line so that you can erase things. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is making shapes. You're going to practice making shapes. They have to be geometric. They have to have edges. So they can't have anything round. We're going to just work with shapes with edges. So nothing round. Okay? So if I'm going to make a shape, I'll just start with a square. I'm going to use my ruler for all of my shapes. Everything I do, I'm going to use my ruler for. And some people like to turn their paper. Other people like to move their ruler. It's entirely up to you how you work with your ruler, as long as that ruler is always in your left hand or in your right hand, depending upon what you write with. And you're just going to practice making different shapes. This is a parallelogram, if I can get it accurate. There. So these two sides are parallel. I can erase this. So that's all I'd like for you to do today is practice shape making and think about vertical, horizontal lines and the vanishing point. I'll see you in video 2.